We now turn our attention to boxing, an upcoming heavyweight fight taking place on the 31st of March 2024. Fabio Wardley versus Frazer Clarke. So a fight we've been waiting for a while. It was going to happen. A while ago there were purse bids. The story goes that Ben Shalom pulled Frazer Clarke out. I think Clarke would have been happy to fight, but it was decided he needed a bit more experience at a professional level. Or maybe the money wasn't quite right. They thought they'd wait a little bit longer, let both fighters build their profile a bit more, and have a bigger fight further down the line. And at the gloves are off, Fabio Wardley was mentioning the situation, making out that Frazer Clarke ducked him initially. Frazer Clarke described it as a case of not biting the hand that feeds him. So I think it was a decision made by Ben Shalom and Frazer Clarke's management. But the fight's happening now. It's a bigger fight. They're getting paid more, and it's a big event. I looked at the two fighters and I looked at my general feeling about them, and I thought I was sort of leaning towards Fabio Wardley, like initially, but Frazer Clarke has the experience advantage. Obviously, he's got an extensive amateur record, turned professional quite late. Fabio Wardley turned professional early, but then doesn't have that amateur background. So they've got two very different backgrounds. I'm going to have a quick look at their records to see what we can deduce from who they've fought and their experience. So Fabio Wardley is undefeated. He's beaten Nathan Gorman by stoppage. I thought that was a very impressive performance. Gorman, very good boxer, obviously from Tyson Fury's family. I think it's his cousin. Obviously he had a loss to Daniel Dubois, but very useful, knows his way around the ring, good fundamentals. But Fabio Wardley was able to defeat him and stop him quite early on, and in spectacular fashion. So that caught my eye, that victory. He's also got that victory recently over David Adeleye, which is an impressive victory in Saudi. So basically Fabio's been looking pretty flashy. He's got those combinations, he's got those fast hands, he's been getting knockouts. He's shown heart at times, he's shown a willingness to fight. Very well spoken as well, so press conferences go well, things like the gloves are off go well. Frazer Clarke on the other side, since this fight was meant to come through, and didn't. He's fought Dave Allen, he's fought Mariusz Wach. Mariusz Wach took him the distance. Dave Allen retired in the end. Had a look at that fight. Frazer was on top most of the time. Frazer's work, it's not the flashiest work, it's very solid. Like, his fundamentals are solid. He knows his way around the ring, he knows boxing inside out. He looks like an amateur, a well-schooled amateur. He's got that background, but now he's a professional. He's taken those amateur skills and he's chiseled and perfected them in the professional ranks. And now he's looking to take on Fabio Wardley for the British and for the Commonwealth titles. Looking at it, the general discussion people have about it is that Wardley is a favourite. They expect Wardley to come through in this one, but they also note that Frazer Clarke might be more experienced with his amateur background, and if it gets to deep waters, Frazer Clarke might be better equipped mentally and in terms of strategy and experience to see Fabio Wardley off. I thought about it, and I literally said, I see Wardley as the favourite at about 1-2. I see him as the favourite, but not a huge favourite. So I said 1-2, and I'd say about 2-1 for Frazer Clarke. And then when I looked at the odds, Fabio Wardley best price is 4-9, so just under 1-2, and Frazer Clarke was 2-1. So at that point, I just thought there's no real value. The prices are where they should be. The bookies have got it right. If you're betting on the outright market, there's not much there. What I did spot was, in terms of it going to distance, there was some value. I think this fight will go to distance. I don't see it being like the fights either of them have had so far. I think it's going to be a longer fight than Fabio Wardley's used to, and I think it's the same for Frazer Clarke. I think it's going to go the distance. I see it being a tougher fight than all the fights they've had before. So I don't think Fabio's just going to come and blast Frazer Clarke out, and I don't see Frazer Clarke blasting Fabio out quickly either. Fabio's got heart, so if he gets hurt, he's likely to dig deep. Frazer Clarke hasn't really shown much one-punch power, to be honest. He broke down Dave Allen, he was in control, broke down Wach. He had to break everybody down. It took a series of punches and a certain number of rounds. He has got power, he's a big guy, looks the part, 6'6", powerful man. but I don't think he has that one. He doesn't have that X factor shot. I think Fabio does have that in his armory. Fabio has a quick-handed shot, speedy, quick arm speed, uppercut or hook, or a flurry of quick punches that can lead to a stoppage. That's what we've seen so far. But will those sort of punches get rid of Frazer Clarke? I'm not so sure. Frazer Clarke is an oak tree. He's a strong man. He's an experienced man. If you watch him in the clinches, he knows how to defend himself. He protects himself from shots, puts his arms in the right places so that he's not susceptible. He knows every single millimetre of the ring, so it's not going to be easy for Fabio to just blast it away. I really do see it going to points. I think Fabio might have the better cardio, but it depends on how they've trained. Frazer Clarke is really putting in the hours in the gym. If he's really coming in tip-top condition, maybe the difference between their stamina and their fitness and endurance won't be so severe come the 31st of March. But I think Fabio will do enough to win on points, and when we look at the odds for that, we can get, I think, Fabio Wardley 5-1 for a win on points. I think Fabio Wardley's 10-11 for a win by stoppage, so they're seeing that as the most likely outcome. In terms of method of victory, Fabio Wardley 10-11 for the stoppage. I think a lot of people will like that, maybe a late stoppage. They'll be thinking, I don't think it's going to go early, but I'm looking at the points. I think Frazer Clarke's durable. I think he's experienced. I think he'll go the distance. Frazer Clarke on points 11-2, so they're similar prices. Fabio Wardley 5-1 on points. Frazer Clarke 11-2 on points. I'm going to side with Fabio. I think he'll have that little bit better fitness. I think he has a better ability to hurt Frazer Clarke, and I think he'll get it done. He'll have done more work, just output. I think Fabio will have better output. And just in terms of value, I think that's the bet I'd look at. I can't endorse Fabio Wardley at 4-9 because he's fighting somebody who has that experience and has that strength. Frazer Clarke is a tough guy. Another thing, I think I've said a lot that leans towards Fabio. Frazer Clarke has the experience, has the know-how to win this fight. He hasn't shown flashy shots so far, but he breaks people down. If Fabio finds that he's in a deeper waters than he's used to and he's struggling in the clinches, struggling close up for a man who's slightly taller, probably wider, stronger man, and Frazer Clarke gets a little bit of confidence, then he can win this fight. And the 2-1, I think as I've said, I think it's about right. I'd be leaning towards the points markets if you go either way, but me personally, I think Fabio Wardley 5-1, winning on output, winning on work rate. But it's a dangerous fight. It can go either way. It's going to be entertaining. So for me, that's the value play I'm going for. Fabio Wardley to win on points at 5-1. Please give your opinion on this fight. Let us know which way you think it will go and why. Let us know if you've seen any betting value in there. If there's any good odds that you've seen. Enjoy the fight. It's going to be a classic. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think it's going to go long. I think we're going to get a lot of entertainment out of it, and it's definitely worth tuning in. So thanks, and I'll catch you next time.